but at the same time, we was able to get some information that kind of, I guess this might have been a reason why, because this drowned out everything. Did y'all hear about the announcement of the PlayStation 5 and they were showing out the dev kits? Now, they was talking precisely about their controller and how they was going to revolutionize the controller by taking out the rumble feature and
Bullshit.
oh, look, yeah. I mean, they learned the lesson from the PlayStation 3, but they're gonna replace it this time, and they're gonna replace it with this mechanism that actually immerse the controller as in. Let me give a has a version of what they talking about. So when you play the Switch, the whole concept of them, they just upgraded to that, and they say they bringing out some new technology. Well, let's say when you're driving, that the R, but the R2 trigger. I mean the right, the R2 and the L2 button will have its own rumbles in there to give you feedback that they're gonna revolutionize gaming. So what do y'all
Hey,
think
Savage, we
about
can hear your
the
background, Savage.
PlayStation 5?
Savage, Savage, we can hear your background, good brother.
Yeah,
I got you. I
y'all
muted.
in
I
there?
got him. I
Yeah,
muted.
mute,
I got him.
yeah, mute him,
I
mute him,
got
mute
him.
him. We can hear his background. I
All
don't want
right,
to. It ain't for the
I'll go
public. Go ahead.
first. I'll go first. Um,
Yeah.
you're talking about like the little haptic feedback in the controllers, right? In
Did
the
you see the?
in the
Did you
PlayStation
hear
5
PlayStation
controllers, how they're
5
taking
control?
out the rumble features, putting in the about how they're going to put the haptic feedback into the controller.
Right.
Yeah, well, basically, the haptic feedback, when it first came back, it was kind of experimental. But first, when I seen it, they started implementing that in headphones and some headsets and gaming. Believe it or not, and it's not really a bad it's not a bad feature at all. It does kind of give you a little bit more of that immersion. So
Yeah.
I think this is going to be pretty good. Uh,
Hey, from
so
what I was hearing,
I'll give them
that
credit where
you'll
credit's
better
due. If
tell the
they do it
difference.
right, it's going to be it. Huh?
Yeah, from what I'm hearing, it's supposed to be you can better tell the difference between if you're playing a football game and you getting tackled to you being driving a car and then all of a sudden you miss a turn and you run into a wall. You will be able to
Yeah,
feel the
that's haptic
difference
feedback.
between.
All right, basically
Right.
take what you got in a Rumble controller and kind of and kind of and kind of make it diverse, make it different. Like how you kind of have like equalizers and like sound and like your headphones and stuff like that.
Right.
It's kind of like that with the haptic feedback. It's just like more of a advanced version of like you know rumbles in a controller.
Yeah. So what you think about the advanced technology that the PlayStation 5 is going to have with the new controller? The announcement that they made. You think
Hopefully,
that's
people gonna have
you
money.
think that's
People gonna have money
revolutionary?
for it if they want to buy another controller.
Yeah.
Because that stuff gonna cost.
Man. Hang
And
on, but hey,
haptic feedback in the regular
But
headphones,
chaos,
it
yeah,
costs,
but
huh?
chaos is wrong. Xbox already have haptic feedback in their controllers already. Haptic feedback is
Nah, in the regular controllers they
it
don't.
is. How you think when you playing Forza, how you feel in the trigger, or when you playing a shooter? That's haptic feedback.
Yeah.
That's
Well,
not
see,
really.
That is
That's not really
feedback.
what they're talking about.
That's what
I
they're
know what you're
talking
talking about.
about.
That's not really what they're talking about.
what are they saying?
Haptic
Hold on, let me hear it
feedback.
again. I didn't hear it. Hold on. Let me hear it again.
He's talking about haptic. He
Sony,
said that
Sony is doing what to their controller?
controllers now is not haptic feedback. That
It's
is
not.
a haptic feedback is you feel like what you do if you driving a car. You know what I'm saying? If you rolled over some bumpers and you feel that in the trigger, that's haptic feedback.
Let me explain something real quick to my young Padawan that he may not know. Actually, the Xbox does have all them features in it. It's up to the developers to use those features with inside the Xbox controller. Developers was not using them features and stuff in the controller for what reason. None of us may not know why they didn't use it. If you can go back and watch E3 2013, I believe, when he was talking about the Xbox and watch what they listen to and see how they describe or what they was technology that they was working on the Xbox controller. It is they don't call it the same, but it is actually the same thing. They're not going to call it the same thing, but yeah, they did that, and
What?
they
Chaos,
did. They're
chaos.
not
You
going to
gotta
call it the
understand this.
same name. It's
No,
not
not
called.
from what you saying, but
No,
from Flip's. They're
chaos.
not
No,
gonna call it. They're
No,
not
it's
it's,
gonna
not.
it's
It's
call
not.
not.
it
It's
No,
not
that
it's
from
called
not.
it
what it.
there.
What?
It's not called the same thing.
It's
You
not.
know how people have more than one name for something that do the same thing. Everybody has something different or change the name or something. That's like the same thing. Like okay, with the Xbox though. The name of the Xbox, the name of the PlayStation is called the PlayStation. There's no different than that. It's just not going to be called the same name or whatever, but it does the exact same shit. You had to watch
I'm
E3
telling you.
You're
2013.
I'm
playing
telling
Halo.
you.
You would see.
Xbox.
Chaos.
Xbox
Chaos,
does
ask me
not
this
have
question.
haptic feedback.
Okay, chaos. It
I'm
don't have
telling
that.
you.
Okay, chaos. Ask me this one question. 'Cause I'm gonna shut up and get him have this drink. You've been playing Halo the whole night, right? Do you feel it different when you see when you shoot a DMR or a pistol or
Yeah,
a assault rifle? That's half the feedback.
yeah,
It may not be as intense as a rumble,
How
but
in an
it's just
intense? I can tell
it's
when I'm shooting a DMR. I know when I'm putting the gun and picking up. I know
But,
when I shoot a pistol.
but that's what I'm saying though, KI. It's up to the developer to use that because when that's what I'm saying. Go back and watch it. They're not gonna call it the
from
same
what
thing.
you're saying. Every
Motors in
freaking
the trigger.
controller has haptic feedback. Then
It's motors in the trigger. That's all it is. It's motors in the
They
trigger
triggers.
to
They
make sure
that's
triggers.
you
what
feel.
rumble is.
No,
That's not rumble. Rumble
It's
is having
haptic
feedback.
feedback.
That's
yeah,
having
dog,
feedback too.
it is,
It's just
dog. That's
called
what I'm
different.
saying.
It's called a rumble pack.
Listen here.
Okay,
It's a
Don't take my
simulation.
word
It's a
on it.
simulation of.
Go
It's
back
a
and watch when
simulation of
Microsoft
something.
broke that whole thing down. Broke that whole thing
Yeah,
about
and it's a haptic feedback is a simulation of what you're playing. It's a
each gun
simulation.
is pulled
Make
up
you feel
supposed
like
to
you're
have
doing
a
something.
different feedback. Each gun supposed to have something different. It's up to the developer once again to utilize that technology, which we don't understand why they did not do it.
Yeah.
We don't
Just,
understand why they
just
didn't
like when
do
I
it.
play, when I get on the Oculus, when I pick up something, it feels like I'm picking
Yeah.
up something. The only thing I'm doing is pushing a button on the controller because that's haptic feedback.
Now, I would say this. Maybe on a gaming PC, you might notice it with Microsoft controller. But for what reason it is out there, maybe because I guess the stigma that Microsoft got as being the less powerful console, a lot of developers did not use it. They talked about that. Go back and watch E3 2009, 2013, and they tell you about the different Rumble features and all the feedback that you get on that controller. It's just that they just never used it like that. Some company didn't utilize it for whatever reason. You know what I'm saying? So
if they had haptic feedback on their controllers and call it, that makes no sense. They would just call it haptic feedback. That's just basically like EA calling loot boxes freaking surprise mechanics. That's retarded.
that's not retarded. Everybody
It
have
is.
They call
I'm
it
just
surprise
calling it
mechanic.
like it is, bruh. It's stupid to
They call
call
it surprise
anything else.
mechanic.
Haptic feedback is haptic feedback, no matter how you name it.
okay. When did you first hear about this? When did you first even heard that they was calling that happy feedback? Tell me, when did you first hear it? You only heard it when
When
Sony
I was
first did
looking,
that?
when I was looking for headsets, and I heard what haptic feedback was in some of them headsets, I ended up looking it up. What haptic feedback did to them headsets, and
Hey,
I'm
so
Yeah,
telling
so okay, yeah.
you,
So
but
let
it
me
that's
just
does
break down
not.
what's the
headset.
difference between that.
That's headset, dog. That's not
But
controller.
it is the same damn concept, bruh. It's
What?
the
Which one is
same concept. It's not.
it? Hold on,
It's
y'all.
the same feature but different device.
All right, so
It
so
ain't
I
the
still
same.
experiment. And what's the
It ain't.
difference?
It ain't. If anything, that go look up. Go
What?
look up the definition of it. Go look it
All
up.
right, why don't you do this for me?
I ain't doing
Why don't you
shit.
look up
I'm
the
not.
Xbox controller? Why don't you look up the
I ain't
Xbox
doing shit.
controller right now and tell me where a feature, where one of the
My
features
boy,
says that it has
my
haptic
boy Six
feedback?
in the
I'll
comments.
wait.
My
I'll
boy,
wait.
my
I'll
boy
wait.
Six giving you this.
I'll wait.
Huh,
I'll
look
wait.
at.
If you can tell me,
He's
if you
telling
can
you
tell
right
me
now.
that, if you can tell me that from Microsoft the controller has
Okay, no,
haptic
go look at it.
feedback,
No, I just put it on
then
the
let
screen.
me.
Go look at the live
The
chat. I just put the live chat on the screen. Go look at it. My man Zink is explaining it to you in perfect English. If you can't understand that shit, you might got to get deported.
You know what? After these messages, Flip will be
Yeah.
right
Hey,
back.
so Rogue man, what's good, man? What you think? You feel the same way Bone feel, or you feel like this is how Chaos feel? You feel like Xbox got haptic feedback, or the PlayStation 5 gonna be revolutionizing controlling?
No, it's
Oh,
not
Man,
revolutionizing anything. We've Xbox has
Chuck,
always had the same thing
I
as.
don't know what the fuck y'all even talking about this stupid ass shit for. That shit started back on Nintendo 64.
Yup.
I was just about to say.
Yup. You both said it with the Rumble Pack. Click.
Yeah, it's the same thing.
With that ugly ass controller. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, it had that already, man. That technology which Microsoft owned, uh, uh, put a large chunk of money into it. I believe they own that company now. That Rumble feature now. So I guess to me, it sounds like I don't know. Maybe it sounds like Sony just not trying to pay Microsoft for that technology. That's what it sounds like to me. So
yeah, but Nintendo on the Nintendo
Yeah,
Switch, they were
I don't think
different
Microsoft
too.
owns haptic feedback, buddy. I'm
no,
sorry.
I said that technology, dog. The people that does the Rumble feature that you got in your controller.
Hey,
So the
What they call
chaos,
it?
haptic feedback, they would have
chaos,
to pay
chaos,
Microsoft for that,
chaos,
right?
chaos, chaos. No one owns that. Nobody.
Thank you.
Nintendo
Thank you.
created it. That's what I'm trying. That's my point. Nintendo created the shit. They not paying Xbox. They not paying Sony. Sony didn't
Thank
create
you.
nothing new. Ain't none of this
Thank
shit
you.
new.
Oh yeah, it's not new.
No,
It
no,
ain't
no,
new. I
no.
ain't
Whoa,
by
whoa, whoa,
far
It's
saying
not.
it's
It's
no.
new.
not. It's not
It's
gonna
nowhere near new.
revolutionize. This is
But
what I'm
don't
saying. It's not gonna revolutionize nothing because that shit been in every system since they developed in Nintendo 64.
hold on. Well, actually, no. Nintendo don't own it. It was a company. It's a third party company that uses that uses that technology.
We're
That
not saying that
Microsoft is
anybody owns it though.
no. That's what I'm saying. The company that you're talking about with that technology, all that stuff in there with the Rumble feature technology, Microsoft threw a whole chunk of money into that company. I think Microsoft own that company by now. This is what I'm saying. Nintendo went to another party to get that put in their stuff when they first started out Rumble feature. They don't own that shit. It's a third party company. I think Microsoft bought that company around the 360 era because I remember them talking about that. That's one of the reasons why Sony did not wanted to have the Rumble feature in there and stuff like that, and they was calling that six active bullshit. But they ain't want. They did not. There's a whole article on it, and they did not want to pay the money for it. But near the end, they end up paying the money for that shit. And then I found out Microsoft threw a whole chunk of money into that shit because
Right. That
Microsoft and Nintendo paid for it. Nintendo had paid for it, Microsoft had paid for it, and Sony didn't want to do it. It was in the three on the PlayStation 3 era, and I
yeah,
was
but
like,
think about what
huh?
about the Nintendo Switch? You remember when the Nintendo Switch first came out? They was talking about how the rumble on the controller, the ice cubes in the cup, and they saying if you can move the controller and you shake the controller, and they gonna feel the ice cubes going out the controller, and they was talking about how they
You betting,
revolutionized the rumble
you
feature.
betting, you betting bad. All I heard was
So,
Nintendo and revolutionized Rumble feature.
oh, y'all get me now? Y'all get it now?
Yeah,
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. So it's not
What I'm
only
saying
me
is,
that Chuck's been kind of botting in and out through the
yeah,
whole
nah,
thing.
it's not you. Now, can
Okay,
you
I
say it
thought it
one
was
more
only
time?
me.
Can you say it one more
yeah,
time, good brother?
yeah. All right, the Nintendo Switch, they had a feature that would with the rumble technology, where like when you move the controller, you could shake it like you feel ice cubes in a cup. And they was talking about how they revolutionized the rumble feature, and they was calling it something then. So with the Sony PlayStation 5, that could be another thing that they doing too. They're taking some of the Nintendo features from off to the Switch, and they're taking in the Xbox for the feedback from the controller, because that's what they was talking about, like the feedback when you squeeze. Because from what I'm hearing, they say it's gonna be a big difference between when you drive in the car and you wreck, and the difference between you playing football and you get tackled, or if you walking through the rain and you walking through the mud, or if you walking through snow. The way that the textures feel as you're going by, the difference in the technology is going to be, you're going to feel a difference. It's not going to give you the same feeling,
Haptic feedback.
not shaking. Like, feedback is not, it's just shaking. Like, instead of just shaking, it's
Haptic
doing something
feedback.
completely different. And
You
that's
do
what I'm hearing
realize,
about with headback is.
like that
But
shit
it just,
already is already in Xbox.
Yeah, Yeah, that's what we're saying. Like, yeah, I get what you
Like
said.
it's
That Tiller was
already
talking
in
about.
Xbox.
He talking
So
about.
It's
basically,
not. It's
You
not.
talking
It's
about the
nothing.
Ah, shit.
Nintendo console, right? Or you
It's
talking about
not
the?
revolutionary. It's in the Xbox.
Yeah,
It's
that's.
in. Dude, you can get haptic feedback in your fucking PC.
Yeah, that's what I was. That's what I said. Like, people don't know that shit. Like, that's old, man. It's just a word, a name that they're using. That's all that is.
Didn't you say that?
Haptic feedback. Haptic feedback for the Sony ain't nothing but the rumble packs that we was been used to. That's it.
Yep. For years. I mean, hey, the smoke and mirror, man. You got to know how to market stuff for people. Oh, wow, that sounds something. No, that's old. People don't know. The casual don't know that. It's easy to come up with something and change the word around for when you don't know. And people just go off of it. Oh man, it's the same. No,
like
no.
what they were saying, dynamic 4K, dynamic
Yeah,
4K make it
yeah.
sound so extreme. It's so
Oh yeah.
extreme. It's
Okay.
4K.
Okay. Okay. I'm glad you say that, Chuck. Say it again. When is it that Microsoft was using? They was using upscaling, upscaling chip to make their game hit 4K with certain
Oh, no,
games or
no,
1080p. But Sony call it dynamic. It's
yeah, they
the
checked
same
for it.
shit.
Yeah,
They
right.
just call
It was
it
checked for. They
dynamic.
checked for
It's the
right.
same shit. they know how to razzle dazzle the people. I give Sony props because they know how to razzle dazzle shit. You know what I'm saying?
Or the
Like,
fact they might get sued if they use their fucking name.
hey, hey, who knows? But yeah, that's why I said all that should be the same shit. Motherfuckers just be changing the words around and shit like that, man. That's all.
Yeah,
It's all do the
that,
same.
they
Nothing
might
new.
be coming up with something completely different. Because my whole thing is, I always say for the next generation,
I mean, everything that
I
you described on that shit is already on Xbox. But the problem is the type of games that this shit on, you don't play.
hmm I'm telling you, Chaos.
I be
I'm bullshitting
I
you
mean,
not. All you have to do is
no,
go buy
honestly, like the type of games that with
and
that
watch
type of
how they
shit in
talk
there,
about
Chuck, you really don't play them games.
it. Yeah. I'm telling you, man. I was listening here. It's like when I was trying to tell people back then, Chuck. I said, well, the OG Xbox, the Fat Boy,
All right, check
had
this out.
about
How many
4K.
how many of y'all in here right now got Ghost Recon Wildlands?
Me?
Me.
All
We
right.
all got it. I believe we all got it.
If you play Wildlands, you can tell the difference in that shit right there. Depending on what guns you firing is gonna be depending on the kick and all that.
Yeah, but
That's
like,
true.
it's like what I said. It's up to the developers to decide what they want to use it for. Because
And that's a
Microsoft does said,
fucking and that's a Ubisoft game.
yep.
right. I mean, I know you get the feel of it in a
I
game like
mean,
Forza. Forza give you that
yeah,
dynamic
Forza give
feedback.
you Forza give it to you. For Honor
hmm
give you the same kind of feeling. If you
hmm
play Red Dead and you go to different parts of Red Dead, you get that feeling.
Yep.
Just
And
go
with the
run
light,
around in the snow.
hey, Chaos. Matter of fact, when we playing GTA, you get different rumble features. Rumble on like when you're playing on GTA and you see the lightning, you'll feel the rumbling. You'll feel the rumbling different from the lightning than when you hit somebody. It's two different feedback that you're getting. Or when somebody's shooting at you, you'll feel it.
Man, look like Chaos sitting back say, man, I can't wait till it come out. I'm gonna have all y'all eating crow.
You can't make nobody eat cross from shit that's been made.
True.
Yeah,
I mean,
man.
the
Yeah,
same
but
thing
they
is
supposed to
on,
be
like, we
revolutionized.
playing Destiny right
No,
now. I can tell the difference between
Chuck,
a
I'm
submachine
doing
gun
we doing this shit
and a
right
pulse
now
rifle.
as we speak.
Yeah.
So you're saying Sony doesn't have that right now?
No, we're not saying that Sony don't have that. That's not what
Dude,
we're saying. We're
Sony been had that. That's what the fuck I'm telling you.
just saying Sony just coming up, just changing the words
It's
around.
not nothing new.
Marketing. It's marketing. All that is marketing.
I'm not saying it's anything new.
I'm just saying,
You
like
know what? Nah.
No,
saying,
Sony don't have.
You
Okay, well, I'm
got
gonna put it this way: Sony don't have half the feedback in their triggers. How Xbox does. When you play on PlayStation and you shooting, you don't have no feedback on it. It's a rumble,
That
but it's
ain't true.
not like the trigger.
That ain't true.
It don't
yeah,
feel like
That's
the
not
trigger.
They don't,
yeah.
they don't
that's
have they
that's
don't
not
have a
that's
rumble
I'm gonna
on
leave it.
Xbox.
I'm gonna leave it alone
You
on
play,
that one.
you play on
that's
Xbox.
not true,
they don't
Bone.
have a rumble. triggers.
Just don't do it.
That's not true, Vaughn.
Yeah, it said it don't have.
Their rumble is like the Switch. It's like the Switch. That's their rumble. When I'm playing shooters on the Switch, yeah, it rumbles, it feels, but it don't feel like Xbox. It don't feel it's no rumbles in their trigger.
That's not true, Vaughn. In the PlayStation, there's a setting. No, listen to me. PlayStation do have rumbles. You got to go inside the PlayStation to set the rumble to your adjustment.
Ain't nobody got time for that shit. I don't even play on that shit. So what the fuck?
Yeah, that's your problem, dude. You said it ain't fucking there. I don't give a fuck if you ain't got time for it. You just said it ain't there.
Why you got to go into the settings and cut it on? It should be automatic.
Why it got to be automatic? Some people don't even want to play with the fucking rumble.
Well, you got the choice to cut it off, but it should be automatic.
Bone, shut up, man.
I know Halo Pro players don't play with the triggers on because they so used to not playing with them. I feel what you're saying, but it should be automatic for me.
Yeah, that's for you. That's your opinion. You don't make a PlayStation. You buy a video game. They sell their games how the fuck they want to.
And they can do it, and I don't gotta play them. That's why I don't buy them. I'm pirate.
Well, what you bitching for?
I ain't bitching, but I'm just saying it's not the same.
You just got a whole high pitched tone. That sounds like feminine to me.
It's not the same, nigga. It ain't the same.
This nigga stupid. Nigga, I ain't fucking with this nigga. I'm not fucking with this nigga. Yo, this nigga's
but PlayStation don't have
it's fucking killing me.
What's
wrong with this dude? So
on the PlayStation 4. I guess on the PlayStation 5, they trying to catch up with the Xbox by adding extra rumbles in their triggers and calling them and rebranding the name.
Bro. Because the rumbles in the Xbox triggers in the same place is the fucking PlayStation.
No,
real talk.
They don't have the same. You can't say that, Seth.
Yeah,
they don't have
all right.
Like that.
Go take the motherfucking joysticks apart and see where them bitches at.
No. I know what you're saying.
I agree with Savage. They are.
Hold on. No. I see what both of y'all saying. I see y'all saying it like two different ways. Savage is saying that they do have it. Bone trying to say the fill and the rumble feature that Microsoft has is not exactly the same as Sony have it. He's not saying that they don't have the vibration and stuff like that. He's saying the vibration of the triggers and stuff.
Okay. Using that same logic. The Xbox Elite controller has different rumble than a regular Xbox Elite controller because you can change the settings on it.
No, it got it. It got the arm joint in it. It's just that you can switch that shit around. Yeah, you're right. Absolutely right.
I mean, you can switch it on a regular Xbox too, can't it?
Yeah.
I don't think by hardware you can't. Not like that. Not like the Elite.
Listen to me. You can turn it down. You can't turn it off.
Yeah, you can. Yeah. I think what it is, the Elite is more customized with though, like the little switches and shit you can mess with. But you actually have to go directly into the setting into your Xbox, hook it up, and switch that thing around. I was messing with it, and I was like, I fucked up something. had to go in there and reset my controller back to standard because I was fucking around. I was being like Inspector Gadget Lemon, Inspector Lemon. You know what I'm saying? Inspector Lemon.
Man, I just have my when it comes to the vibrate, I turn it all the way up, man. The control be shaking on my hand.
But see, when you do that though, that drains your battery too, man. But if you got it hooked up, you know how you got the charger. If you using that with your headphone, because you know how we all like to have them high quality headphones, that joint kills your battery. That killed that charger that's in there. Because I was doing that one day, and that joint went down. I'm like, whoa. Usually it took me like a whole week before the battery went dead with the controller. Then I realized I had everything hooked up to it.
Yeah, you doing too much at one time.
Yeah. Told you I was like Inspector Lemon.
Yeah.